I'm here in this auto graveyard to demonstrate New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. Simply wipe it on and wipe it off. There's no rubbing, no buffing. Look how New Finish restored a deep, hard shine to even this weather-beaten old car. You see, New Finish is not a wax, but a space-age polymer formula that shines better and lasts longer. And here's proof. An independent laboratory tested New Finish against several leading brands of car polishes. After simulating a full year of punishing weather and exposure, New Finish had the highest gloss and actually retained more than 90% of its original shine. Next, we polished this car with New Finish and ran it through 52 car washes. After all the harsh detergents and scrubbing, the water still beads. So get New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. It's guaranteed to perform to your complete satisfaction or return the unused portion to place of purchase for a full refund.
Also available, New Chrome, a mirror-bright chrome cleaner and polish that removes rust. New Chrome, another quality product sold in all these stores.
Because of the meat. That's why more Canadians shop at Dominion than at any other store. Yes, it's mainly because of the meat. It's mainly because. Yes, it's mainly because.
Because of the meat.
Miss Mew, what's cooking with you?
Why, some delicious seafood supreme, succulent beef and egg, and tasty liver and bacon.
I'm crazy about you, Miss Mew.
Who can't you talking through your hat? And now for my masterpiece, Chef's Dinner.
Miss Mew, you are irresistible.
Oh, boys, everybody loves my gourmet foods for cool cats in so many irresistible flavors.
Oh, yeah!
I'm Miss Mew, and I'm worth looking for.
You are tuned to CFTO Channel 9 in Toronto Cable 8.
Night Myth News with Joseph Beuys.
Good evening. 2 Toronto area men have died in the crash of a light plane near Quebec City. The victims were identified as 44-year-old Brian Alport of North York and 47-year-old Walter Compa of Mississauga. They said they were en route to Quebec City from St. John, New Brunswick yesterday. They were last heard from after checking in with the control tower at Bangor, Maine. There's been a train derailment near Mount Albert, north of Toronto.
Hello?
Several cars of a freight train jumped the track shortly after 8:30 p.m.
No, there isn't anyone here by that name. This is 366-4781.
To clear the wreckage from the tracks. Tourism is booming.
I think you must have the wrong number.
And that is good news for the hotel.
No, this number's just been changed. Try information.
Visitors to Metro who have been arriving in
That's
the city
okay.
unable to get hotel reservations.
August is usually a busy time for tourism in Metro Toronto, but this year it's bigger than ever. For one thing, the Canadian National Exhibition Centennial has drawn throngs of visitors, and of course there are the thousands of performers and exhibitors who stay in town
Hi.
for the X. Also, there
Sorry
are
I didn't call back last week.
This week we'll see an influx of
We had
10,000
problems getting this
Canadian
phone
and
installed.
American psychologists. Added to this
I
is
wanted
the
to call you
Air
about
Canada
that
strike.
tape,
Other
and also
airlines
if you
putting
could
on
review
more
those 2
flights and
publications.
scrambling to find rooms for their extra flight crews. Also, many Air Canada
I think it's
passengers
terrible,
have had to
after the
extend
fuss
their
about
stay here until
copy.
they can book other flights.
It's squashed into 2 inches at the bottom.
More than a dozen downtown Toronto hotels
No, it's
today.
not that
All
important.
booked
It's
solid
definitely
for
not
next
worth
week.
fighting about at this
Most
point.
of the larger hotels on Dixon Road's airport strip reported the same thing.
Probably.
Rooms are a scarce commodity.
Isn't it a good
But
piece?
hotel managers are trying to
He evidently was fascinated by the very thing that the others branded as vulgar Marxist or undialectical thinking.
To major chains. And of course, the farther out you go from
Me
the
too.
downtown core, the better your chances of finding
I was
a
up
room.
late last night
However,
trying to
you
rush
could
the
end up in
script.
Barrie, Oakville, or Oshawa.
I wish I knew something about Thomas Paine. Oh, it's just that I wrote down this title for a Marx Duchamp collaboration called A Real Pain in the
2 men were
Glass.
shot in the legs at a party in an apartment building on Eglinton
No, not
West
at all.
in the city
It's not
of
supposed to be a
this morning.
sitcom.
The shooting victims were
But I
treated
must
and
have
released
somehow
from
got on
hospital.
at the wrong
They
stop.
said about 60 people were in the apartment when the shooting occurred.
No, it's
They
rushed
told
as
police they
usual.
did not see or hear anything
But what do
unusual
people
and
really
did
want
not
from a
find the
performance?
evidence responsible. Police later
It's not like
discovered
making
all
a tape.
moviegoers had crashed through a window in a stampede to escape the gunman. Police in the region
What?
of Durham, east of Metro, have charged
You mean
the man
using
with
TV as a prop to prop up an otherwise collapsing form of bankrupt behavior?
The woman was hitchhiking
I'll remember
to
that.
Ajax when a man pulled up and picked her up, and he pulled a gun.
Please.
A Struggle ensued and the woman managed to
I've
jump
got
out
something
the
for you
car.
here.
Police arrested a man.
How about this
and
for
the
cheap
man
sleaze?
wrote down the license number of his car. As you
If
might
capitalism
expect,
happens when you switch on a TV,
Centennial Edition
and
of
anarchism
Canadian
happens when you
National
switch it
Exhibition.
off,
Police on the grounds have
is
been
socialism
kept
what
busy
happens when you get it repaired,
pickpockets,
and
forced
communism
snatches,
what
and
happens when you try and fix
In
it
all,
yourself?
about 200 people have had a run-in with the law.
No, wait, there's more.
And we have a further report.
Is video fascism when you tell people that only video will change their lives?
Since the CNE opened 12 days ago,
Isn't it crude?
103 people have been arrested
I
by
wrote
the
it.
Special Police Exhibition Squad.
Under my own
These
name,
arrested
of course.
people on drug offenses,
They love
robberies,
my stuff, and it's $500 for 3 days' work.
charges. One pavilion was burglarized. The
Mhm.
police station at
You
the
mean
X
this thing?
was himself.
No, I had nothing to do with it.
Patrol the X, many in plain clothes.
They're so idealistic and greedy too, and their PR is so bad.
Here, several slick-fingered thieves
The only
have
real
been
social action they've ever witnessed
Several
is seeing someone take a
Police have located hundreds of items
Anyway, I must
by
go.
ex-patrons, including boxes
Oh, the end of
filled
next
with
week.
wallets, keys, glasses,
I can't even think about typesetting yet.
Inspector Ron Hobson says the
It's
CNE
supposed to be
has
out by the
changed drastically
15th.
over the years. He's convinced that all the
Ciao.
games on the Midway.
Hello? 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 Are you watching the news? So am I. I don't know if you're taping it. I am. Have you ever read this junk when it's transcribed? It's actually marginally clever. I don't know whether we've got to this part yet, but they try to avoid using organizational names more than once in a story. The government will be called the provincial government, the Ontario government, Queen's Park, and so on. I'm a Joseph Beuys fan. I would never miss one of his newscasts. We all thought the news would be different when the network announced his appointment. You know, give the news some metaphysical form, but it's the same as it ever was. He once started to talk about the dialectic between art and society leading to a liberation of mankind, but they cut to an international symposium on wood carving. He also once came on after the weather and finished up with, "Language is indispensable. For me, the concept of language represents the entire content of information." We think that's why they hired him to read the news. We think they've got us where they want us. Maybe they're right. I haven't missed a newscast in over 2 months. I keep thinking that he's going to let the fat out of the bag, but he hasn't yet. Oh, just in case you don't know who Joseph Beuys is, he is indeed a very famous artist. He's as well known as Barbara Walters, only he doesn't do interviews. That is, he's interviewed, but he doesn't interview other people. That was also part of his contract, or at least, that's what TV Guide said.
Are honest. We've had no complaints, and naturally we watch them fairly carefully. Everything's as it seems to be. In other words, if you're going to toss a coin on a plate, the plate's just the way it is, or a ring over a barrel.
Hi, George?
There's no gimmicks that we're
Is
aware
Dick
of
there?
or have been able to find with close
Dick?
observation.
In the past, several
Good.
Midway booth operators were charged with.
Did you
cleaning
catch
their
that last
games.
segment?
Police have seized BB
What do you
guns
think?
with bent barrels, basketballs too large to fit into baskets.
You don't think it
and
was in bad
phosphorus
taste?
Too small to fit over pegs. But this
I'm
year,
worried about the phrase,
prevails
"let the
at
fat
the
out of the
booth.
bag."
To make sure,
Do you think it'll hold okay?
officers check the games each day.
I can't get any closer than that. Dick, is
There
John
could be
there?
word tomorrow on the chances of a transit strike at Metropolitan Toronto.
John!
Toronto Transit Commission and Bargainer's
No, I haven't tried
Union
yet. There's a
is
5-hour
the potential
difference.
mediator in what could
I
be
just
a
hope he's
final
at home.
attempt to resolve their differences over the key issue of
John,
wages. The
what are we going to do
teachers'
about the
association
frame?
5% more
I don't have time between now and Friday to stretch a skin on it.
The Air Canada shutdown has
We
led
could
to
use
considerable
felt, but the
amount of
frame might not
chaos
support
at
the
Toronto
weight.
International Airport. The
I've got
terminals
about
are
another
jammed
12
with
hours till
people
taping.
trying to get out to their destinations, but not having much
Yep.
luck. Here's a report.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Terminal 1 at noon
Oh, it's
today.
going reasonably well.
Sprawled bodies, luggage, and
I'm worried about the sound quality in that space.
compared to the morning and evening rush hour.
You know what narrative video's about?
Are getting away. American Airlines
I should really get Alvin Lucier to redesign the inside of my mouth.
on
some flights. The airline is
Okay.
retaking Air Canada tickets so that a person
Keep in
trying
touch.
to go Toronto to Bermuda can fly Toronto to New York to Bermuda. But for flights within Canada, much of the burden is falling on CP Air's burdens, and the airline is swamped.
Hi, is it patched in? I'm almost ready for another voiceover. No, not yet. This is getting close to real media hype. It's got all that corporate feel with John this, that, etc. It's also too introspective.
Through New York, they're trying to get us through to Winnipeg now. From there, we will take a car because there's no CPR does not go into Regina.
Did you ever see that telephone piece of his?
We slept on the hard floor last night.
It's a telephone sitting next to a clod of earth, complete with shoots and roots. That in appearance also looks like a phone. I think it was around 1962.
He hopes to get a flight to Winnipeg maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Well, at least this script is real.
Has been running radio ads today saying that
I don't know.
union guarantees an end to work disruptions.
I think it's clear, at least in its rejection.
To resume normal operation.
Okay. Cut it in.
In case you're wondering what the inferences are about, we are waiting to place a call to Joseph Beuys in Dusseldorf. At least that is the plan. Live broadcasts are always the most engaging part of TV, and whilst this is obviously pre-recorded, we're trying to set up some of the excitement that a live event can have. Of course, in a live context, this is called color commentary. That is, it is background information that leads into the hookup or the event. The proposed conversation with Beuys has also been scripted, and hopefully soon you will at least hear the call being placed. Beuys has in fact already made a TV multiple entitled Enterprise, which consisted of two objects. One was a photo of Joseph Beuys and family watching Star Trek, the other a sealed box camera with its lens hole plugged with felt. I think we're just about ready. No? No. We seem to be experiencing slight problems with the overseas operator. Now, the last time these two people talked to each other was in November 1975, just before the author performed a major retrospective of Joseph Beuys's performances. Whilst Beuys has been criticized as being part of the old dialectic between idealist goals and materialist process dressed in the latest fashion, his own history took place in war-ravaged Germany when his work stood against a large dose of materialist zeal that was being injected into the Rhineland by the victorious Americans. This was the time when West Germany was building and transforming itself into a second America. I think we're ready now.
The Ontario government has stepped in again in another move to head off the sale of Nordair to Air Canada. A petition has been sent to the federal government urging it to scrap the $25 million deal. Last week, the provincial government made a similar appeal to the Canadian Transport Commission. Queen's Park feels the loss of Nordair would kill competition in northwestern Ontario and would leave Ontario residents.
Hello, Herr Beuys.
Yeah.
What could artists do about television news?
Aha. Yeah. I cannot say is a solution for this problem now, in the moment.
Yeah.
I think I try to do my best if I have an opportunity to work with television. Yes, I try to give the people information about as much as I know about ways of life coming out from the idea of an enlarged understanding of art related to the whole of the life, the normal life also, yes, included all the problems of the government, the money, the agriculture, the ecological problems, the organization, the school problems, the education problems, and all these things. That's what I try to do, and what I call enlarged understanding of art, and what's related to the doings of the Free International University.
Well, the statement that you just made is going to be played to people who are at a video conference studying video and television.
Yes.
And I guess what concerns me is that television is very clever in the way that it deals with artists, even when artists get on television.
Yes.
And it seems to require a lot of concentration to understand what it is that you're being used for.
Yeah, I think it is in any case a difficulty for artists to work with televisions if they have not a radical idea about the whole question of humankind's evolution, if they have not a real complex view of all the difficulties for human evolution. You know, there I see the problem. I think it would be easier if more artists would be involved in, I fear to speak about politics and all these things, because even this word is a dilemma. Therefore, I try to overcome all these ideas of politics and so-called social ideas, social as far as they are already developed and showed already their inability to change, to be more effective for humankind's development, coming to a higher level of life and all these things, thinking power, creative power and all these things. But as more one comes deeper to all these questions and comes to a complex theory of the open possibilities which are there, which exist, which could be developed also, and whereabout one could inform people, then it's no longer such a difficulty with the question how to use such informating means like television. It could be very serious, and the seriosity could be also joyful with humor and all these things. It could also be done with kind of lightness and adventure. So, no, I say already perhaps too much for your need now in the moment, or for your question. When one has a possibility for a few minutes to speak on television, you know, that's very seldom. Very seldom. The structure of the society is not intended to give people like me enough time to explore what one thinks about possibilities to change the structure.
Okay, well, I'm really grateful for those few comments. And
thank you, Robert.
And I will write to you later on and tell you what happens.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
So I thank you very much for all your interest and all your activities and for all your sendings and so on. So I thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
What you have just seen was a docudrama of how artists sometimes relate to the forms of television. A docudrama is a deliberate manipulation of fiction to create the illusion of reality. It is not, as you might assume, the manipulation of reality into a fiction. If you like, the difference between artist video and television is that in television the intentions of our working become carefully and violently misrepresented. To dramatize this, it was necessary to show how we become forces opposed to ourselves. The process of this performance was parodied to provide you with entertainment. The theatrical characterization of Joseph Beuys was used to simulate the artist lip-syncing television's cultural propaganda. To give it a documentary credibility, Beuys was also co-opted to give his edited views. This is how the media in general, and television in particular, manipulates what it doesn't own. When you choose to adapt your work to the up-tempo demands of what television calls digestion without chewing, you make the choice of sacrificing your own specific gifts of working. Unless the artist wishes to cross the boundaries and become a media expert puppet. There is no role for the artist within the current structure and power holdings of television. Television, unlike video, is never a fun tool. It gets you when you're young, it gets you when you're ill, when you're tired, and when you're down. The art market may want your body and your individualism, but the TV market only wants your fingerprints. Thank you. Good night.
This has been a free political broadcast donated by this station as a community service. Next week this time will be occupied by gas station attendants, followed by computer operators, sales clerks, agricultural laborers, laundromat operators, firefighters.